The doctor's eyes creaked open, the taste of blood bringing back memories of the night before. Caught again, hands clutching his sonic tightly as batons bombarded his body. The doctor's fine suit was torn in places. His neck ached with the evidence of a rough sleep. The doctor found himself slouched in a chair, arms in cuffs behind the back of it. The scent of rust and decay oozed into every new scar. Pain shot through the doctor's arms, an all too familiar wake-up. Some things never change. In front of him sat a table, bolted to the floor and covered with scratches coated by thousands of previous occupants of the room. The faintest remains of a canine tooth lay embedded in a spot the doctor could lean over. He spat blood at the closest wall, the only colour it likely ever had. At the top of that wall, a light outside shone through a smudged pane glass window, half open to let a bitter breeze snake through it. The light touched most of the room, leaving presumably the entrance coated in shadow. His room stretched into darkness like sand into the ocean. Leaning back, the doctor sighed deeply. Something bathed in wine and grime grew closer. With a grin, the doctor whistled, bearing himself with a searing pain on his cheeks. "Kindly refrain from doing that," came a voice that looked down on him. "It is still quite late, you know." "I had guessed." He wiped the blood off his teeth with his tongue. "A simple invite would have done the job." "You have been taken into custody? One does not get an invite when they have been arrested." The doctor scoffed. "Into custody? What for? Daring to visit this planet?" The stranger chuckled. "You are no mere visitor. You are the doctor." "So I'm an experienced visitor. It still gives you no right to take me into a rather dingy police station. Does the great new Tempest City not have the budget for a better standard of building? This isn't a police station. Make no mistake, you are under arrest, but by a much higher authority than the police." The darkness birthed the figure. His pale form strode to a chair on the other side of the table. Dull hair swayed as he walked until he gracefully took his seat. Arms folded onto the table, his green, piercing eyes looked onto the doctor. "Good evening, Doctor. I trust you are enjoying your stay on Vetus." The doctor struggled to meet his glare, twisting his arm to force himself to not look away. "I've had kinder greetings, but I've also had worse. It seems I just can't find a respite from such unfortunate side effects of society." The stranger scowled. "You've more than earned your greeting, Doctor." "There must be a mistake. I have not been to Vetus before." His words died away as he spoke. "Time." The doctor, the face changer. "One day, you came to Vetus, and you brought chaos in your wake. Saving it from something worse, no doubt." The stranger slapped the doctor, but the Time Lord forced his gaze to remain on his interrogator. "My apologies," the stranger composed himself. "That was poor form. You are here because your punishment has been decided. How long has it been for you? How long has Vetus waited for me to show up again?" "Centuries." He slipped a card from his sleeve with the same arm's hand. It landed in front of the doctor, slanted. With a tilt of his head, he read it out loud. "Abraham Saiter, Humanoid Resources." The doctor scoffed. "Sounds like a fancy name for someone who does next to nothing." "Times are changing. People like to know that there is someone looking out for them at work. In this case, the estate that hired me could greatly benefit from your help." The doctor straightened himself, embracing the pain to wake him up. "This leads us back to a simple invite." Blood dripped from the edges of his frown. Abraham glared at him, biting the inside of his lip before shaking his head. He clicked his fingers, summoning the lights from the rest of the room. The far end of the room lit up, showing it painted with sketches of the doctor to the point where several overlapped larger ones. Prices among them spanned languages, currency, and ranged from humbling to insultingly low. Even the door, only noticeable due to a solid bronze handle, melded with the wall's macabre tribute of the Doctor. Their features changed from picture to picture, the most common one being a blonde-haired young man the Doctor didn't recognize. "I'm impressed." The Doctor cast the questions from his mind, being sure to keep the room from slipping through his bound hands. "Who did you say hired you for this punishment, then?" Abraham breathed deeply. The two sat in a standoff, with the Doctor leaving his question in the air while his host stared him down with an incredibly sharp glare. Passing seconds shrank the room. The Doctor felt a new weight on his chest the longer he kept his watering eyes locked onto Abraham's deep ones. The dancing flames tricked his mind. For a moment he saw the veins on the man's neck pulsate. With reluctance, the Doctor, the most wanted Time Lord in the universe, broke away from Abraham's gaze. He leaned back and closed his eyes. "All right, I understand your client is private then. What do you want me to do, and what do I get?" Relief punctured the man's stern tone. "A pardon. In exchange for your help in the matter, the High Vita's Paradigm have agreed to pardon you for the destruction you were involved with. You can have your blue box back and leave Vitas at your own leisure. I do suggest visiting the old theatre in the centre of the city, though. It is quite the experience." When the Doctor looked back, the man's shallow eyes regarded him with interest. In response, he shuffled in discomfort. "We are past the point of pleasantries, Mr. Saiter. What do you want me to do?" Abraham hummed. "I want you to liberate someone from a house just outside of the city." "It all depends on whether this person is aware of the liberating." He chuckled sadly. "He is not aware, but he will be very grateful for the assistance." "What makes you think he is in the house?" Abraham's tone became low, echoing in the room. "I know he is there. He should be where he belongs, but the owner of the estate wishes to be difficult." The Doctor's response shook before gaining its composure. "Is the owner a friend of yours?" Abraham groaned. He stood up slowly before walking to the wall of the Doctor's past and future achievements. His footsteps owned the room, taking advantage of each beat that struck the Doctor's hearts. Despite the man being a distance away, the Time Lord heard his breathing as clear as a crow at midnight. Abraham clapped his hands, bringing the Doctor back to attention. The man surveyed the wall as he spoke. "With your skills, you should be able to avoid the owner. If, by some unfortunate turn of events, you do find yourself in her presence, then we are confident you can enlighten her." The Doctor's stomach tightened. "I trust you mean diffuse the situation with my natural charm?" "I am no executioner." Abraham let the silence fall. He stumbled to continue. Hopefully it should not come to that. You should just find the child and get out. I shall have a team outside waiting for you." The Doctor felt his heart crash to the ground. "A child?" Abraham turned, eyebrow raised, an injection of concern in his manner. "Yes, a child." "Lead with that next time," the Doctor growled. "Stupid people like you always think you need to beat me within an inch of regeneration for me to do something, but you always forget that no matter what face I have, I'm here to help." "We shall see about that, my friend." "Don't call me that." Fury lay tangled in the Doctor's words. Try as he may, he failed to remove it as he continued. "You have my pictures, you know my stories, even if just on a surface level. Tell me, after the chaos I brought to Vitas, was there peace?" Abraham rushed to the table, slamming his fist down on it. He paused. With a deep breath, he stood straight, cleared his throat, and replied calmly, "Those days have been and gone. Let us live in the present." "Then why aren't you doing it yourself? Why wait for me to happen to be here?" "They saw an opportunity." Abraham looked away. He mumbled to himself rapidly in his home tongue. While the Doctor picked the odd word out, they quickly blurred into ones too swift to actually make a sentence. He breathed a deep, shuddering breath. The Doctor caught the ancient glint in Abraham's eye. In a flash, he pulled another card from his sleeve, this one gleaming in the light of the lamps with a brilliant golden sheen. He flicked it onto the table. It landed perfectly onto the other card, the word invitation embedded into the card with fine silver silk. My way in. Abraham nodded before moving behind the doctor's chair, whose hands wiggled and writhed as the stranger toyed around with the cuffs. The scent of a dripping forest wafted to the doctor's nose. Madam Agatha Papyrus has been permitted to show a group of selected people around the manor, historical types mostly, but it will provide enough of an excuse for you to go looking for the child. Who is this owner anyway? With a snap, his wrists launched to his chest, red rings around them, blood trickling to the surface of his skin in places. He did his best to present himself through the searing pain, but could not help but soak in the free movement by slumping onto the table. A dozen daggers pierced his back again and again until he threw his body to its feet. Under Abraham's quizzical gaze, the doctor stretched, still feeling the cuffs weighing down his arms, clutching the pulsating sting and burying it deep. I don't know. Glad to hear you are well informed. The lady has gone through a variety of names. She lost contact with my client some time ago, so you'll forgive me if my information is not up to date. From my understanding, you have gone into situations with less information, have you not? The doctor grumbled. That is true. Is there anything else I should know before you throw me into the proverbial deep end? Abraham's hand slithered into his other sleeve, pulling out a small, sleek key and holding it out for the doctor. I'd prefer you at your peak, but for now we would like you to rest in a nearby inn. In room 214 you'll find medical supplies. In the morning, you will go to the manor. The doctor steeled himself. Why not now? If I go while she's asleep, beaten or not, it will be easier to search the manor. Anywhere else, that would be the best plan. However, the owner is more active at night. We find your best opportunity will be in the morning. The doctor sneered. So you want me to let the child stay there a bit longer? Defeat laced Abraham's words. I want to live in a world where I do not have to ask anyone's help in this matter. That is, coincidentally, the same world where this boy is playing with his friends in the street, happy and free. Neither of us likes it, but I am certain that the boy will be safe until the morning. You need at least some rest anyway.